Alright, here we go. I hope you can hear me now and see me and everything that I do. And the stream seems to be working. Cool. So, welcome to this second dev stream that I'm gonna do. I'm Anna from Talecore. And in this stream I am going to talk a bit more about the design of the game that I'm making. Because I put up a poll on Twitter asking you like what you wanted to see in the next dev stream, and two people answered. One wanted to see lore and story, and one wanted to see game design. So I thought I'm gonna go with game design this time, and next time we can look at something else. And please ask questions in the chat if you have any. I don't have that much planned. I don't even know exactly what I'm going to talk about. So if you have any questions, please just write something in the chat and I'll try and keep an eye there. And we'll see where this ends up, basically. So first off, I want to kind of introduce the game. Some of you might have watched the last stream and already know a little bit about it. Some may not have seen this before. So yeah, you can see the art style of the game here. Very low-key, everything handwritten, hand-drawn. It's a low-key point-and-click game in which you play a... I don't actually need these. I can hear anything anyways. So you play a gnome, which is kind of a helping spirit that lives on a farm. In Swedish folklore, they lived on all the farms and they took care of the farm for the people living there, basically. And you play. I can actually show him. This is what he looks like. He doesn't stand like that in game. He's just... I've been fiddling around with animations and his feet got messed up. Anyway, so he looks kind of like that anyway. So he walks around on this farm and solves puzzles. And the thing is that he can meet the various creatures that live both on the farm and around it. So that's kind of the base premise. And you can see, you can look at it as Monkey Island meets Over the Garden Wall and something from Tim Burton somewhere in a dark forest in Sweden. So it's going to be very darker than what you see here. Like actually physically darker, because it's in the middle of the night, because that's when the gnome comes out. And it's also going to be dark in theme. So that's kind of it. So yeah, it's a point-and-click game, as I mentioned. Draws a lot from, as I mentioned, like Monkey Island, and also like more modern point-and-click game, point-and-click adventures. Like the games from Talecore, for example. So you basically just walk around in room after room and you interact with all the items that you find in the room. And there is also, of course, a story. I can tell you more about that later. But like if you walk around in this room, you're like, okay, here's the thing. Either it's just something for flavor, or it's actually something that you find that you could help out with. And I'll come to why it could be good to help the humans in a second. So, well, actually I don't want to get too technical in this stream. I think I can leave that for another stream. So I'm not going to show you exactly how I've done everything like that. But I think the genre in itself is really cool. Really, it's kind of easy to work with. Because I didn't actually know really how to code when I started this project. But it was really like easy to start in one place. Like, okay, what do I need to make a point and click? Okay, you need to point to stuff and click it and something needs to happen. Like, how do I do that? Games from Telltale, yes! Did I say Talecore instead of Telltale? I'm sorry about that. I hope I'm the only one who's gonna make that mistake. Yeah, so I mean the games from Telltale, not from Talecore. I'm so used to hearing myself saying Talecore, so I just say it whenever I can. That was a question from the chat, by the way. Can you show us a quick demo of controls and such? I can get to that in a few minutes. Yeah, but as I mentioned, point and click is like it's really easy to get into, because like as I said, like you start by like, okay, I need to hover stuff and something needs to happen when I click on it. Okay, so and then you like expand from there. Okay, I need to be able to move from one area to another. Everything like that. Yeah, so it was really simple to kind of like expand my own knowledge of programming at the same time that I was working with this. So that was really cool, and I really like games as, you know, the Telltale games and Monkey Island and like, you know, Broken Age, everything like that. So I just kind of wanted to put it in the same vein as those games. So yeah. Yeah, sure, I can actually give you a demo, so just know kind of what it's gonna be like. Actually discovered that I have a lot of bugs like today, so don't be too hard on me. This is very much still gaming, you know, work in progress, so it's not gonna look like this. It's definitely not gonna look like this. And also the music is not actually my music, so don't listen too much to it. I know, maybe I put the volume down actually, so you can't hear it right now. I hope I did. I just put it in to kind of get the feeling of what is it, which kind of music I want to have in the game. Yeah, so this is kind of what it looks like in the first room. As I said, work in progress. So like, okay, here's something hanging on the wall. What is this? And yeah, you can just walk all the way if you want to, and if you think that takes too much time, you can just click and get there. That's actually an option you can choose. So yeah, okay, I looked at it, and now I can pick it up. And now I actually have an inventory, which is, yeah, it doesn't actually work. You can't actually see what you have in your inventory right now, but I'll get to that eventually. And yeah, let me show you some amazing temporary voiceover that I have in the game.
Jag är så glad att vi hittade den här gården.
Maybe now I need to actually listen to this.
Jag vet, käraste. Det blir ett bra ställe.
Yeah, and as you can hear, this is in Swedish. You can, as of right now, you can actually choose if you want to have the voiceover in English or in Swedish. But the text is always in English, as it is.
Det tror jag med. Jag tror det finns en tomte på gården.
Jag vet inte. Men jag ställde ut gröt för säkerhets skull.
Åh, jag hoppas att skålen är tom imorgon.
Jag med. Låt oss gå till sängs nu, käraste.
So yeah, so that's kind of how like the basic interactions work. And also, you can see this little thing over here. You can basically choose if you want to do stuff that helps the farm, the humans, or you can do stuff that helps the forest, the nature. Because this game is very much about like relationship between the forest and the farm, where like the gnome and the farm represents humans and the forest represents like the wild. So you can see it actually as kind of a comment. Oh, I should actually quit Steam. I did the same mistake last time, so you shouldn't have to see that. Where was I? Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of a comment on like the relationship between humans and nature. Because, I mean, everything is better when we work with nature, right, instead of against it. So you will find that, sure, you can complete the game only like looking to your own interest, to the farm's interest, but you will see that it's so much easier, it's so much better if you actually work with the forest, so to speak. And the forests will be represented by the creatures that you meet in the game. So it will be the skogsrå, the spirit of the forest. It will be Näcken, who I can actually show you later. First, you see him for the first time. And so on. Whereas the farm would be more like the simple tasks that you complete around the farm. So if you will help them, the humans, with something that they need help with, I can actually show you how it works. Here you can see they have put out some parts for you, and there are so many things that don't really look good here, but you know, this is still work in progress. But yeah, for example, there is some spider webs, and you know, no humans like spider webs in their home, right? So you can be a nice little gnome and fix this. And then you see that you got some points for helping the humans. And you're gonna need these in the end, because I don't know if I should tell you, this is kind of a spoiler. Well, you will meet someone that has another agenda than yours very early on in the game. And in order to fight them, you need to use this. You need to use your magic, so to speak. Either only your magic that comes from the farm, or only use the forest magic, that's fine as well. But if you can use both, that's the best alternative. So, you know, you can't ignore nature. Nature is a good ally to have. You don't have any questions? Let me hear your questions. So it's kind of like the theme and the core idea of the game. So you walk around, you discover. So it's very much also like emphasis on discovery through what you see in the game. The story is told through what you find. That's kind of like, if we go back to this place, like if you look at something here, you will learn stuff about the current humans who just moved to the house. You will also learn stuff about the humans who used to live in this house. So you will like see the current story, what is going on right now. You will also like get a hint of what has been going on here. And so I think I mentioned in the last stream, this takes place in the 19th century Sweden. So a lot of people, I think it was like 1.5 million people left Sweden, moved primarily to Northern America to avoid starvation and so on. So it's kind of like, it's not a history lesson, but you see all these like hints to what is going on and what has been going on. Like, is this actually a good place to live in? And so on. What can you use the magic for? Manipulate the environment. And is the game meant to be a linear tale or more open? Some questions from the chat. First question, what can you use the magic for? Manipulate the environment. To actually manipulate the environment, I mean, you can do everything that you would be able to do as, like, you know, like you can pick up stuff, you can move stuff. Sometimes you might be too short, so you might have to fetch something to stand on in order to reach, and so on. The magic is more, I could actually show you. This is very work in progress, so don't judge stuff. Now I'm gonna, that was cheat. This is some fantastic voice acting. So this is a troll that you meet early on. So this troll wants to kidnap the unborn child that the woman who has moved here is carrying, because the troll wants to make a changeling. If you're familiar with the Swedish myth, or if you aren't, a changeling is basically a troll child that is put in the crib instead of a human child, because the troll wants to kidnap the child because they want, for example, a slave or something like that. And this isn't good. Of course, I mean, you need to protect the child, so you need to gather all your magic, so to speak, to stop this troll. So that's kind of what you need your magic for. So in the end, it's going to be epic end battle. And is the game meant to be a linear tale or more open? It's going to be pretty open. As you can see over here, the day progresses. Oh, sorry, the night actually. So you only have a certain amount of time each night to do stuff. I mean, as long as you're in the same room, it's not gonna like this. The current design. I might change this later, but as long as you're in the same room, it's not gonna go up. But every time you move somewhere, the night progresses. So you can only do so much in one night, and then you have to go to bed, and there's next night and so on. You don't know how long you have until the troll is gonna try and take the child, or actually you don't know how long it's gonna be until the child is born. So you better hurry up. So every night you can do a certain amount of things. You can maybe discover quite a few like puzzles, but you might not have time to finish them. So the next night you might finish a few puzzles and discover some new ones and so on. And you probably won't be able to, like the first time you play the game, you probably won't be able to actually finish all the puzzles, or even like decide which puzzles you want to finish. I mean, this is kind of to create a replayability. Like the first time you might want to focus on I'm just gonna go with, or you might just do anything that you find, because that's how you do, that's how you play when you play games, right? You just, here's a puzzle, let's finish it. Whereas maybe next time you play the game, you might want to okay, I'm really gonna focus on helping the farm this time, so I'm just gonna do this. And so on. So, what was the question? So that's kind of what doesn't make it linear. You don't have to go in this order. You have a map. I'm just gonna go through this. And this is gonna sound terrible because
Det finns inget ofödbart.
because now all the sounds are fake ones.
Trollet måste stoppas.
The troll has to be stopped. Anyway, so there is a map.
För svag.
Oh,
I
right.
annat fall skulle jag kunna fråga skogsmen om jag fortsätter utföra mina förhoppningsvis går med på det jag kunna få barnet föds.
That was a bad idea. Anyway, so here it goes. Here's kind of the map as it looks right now. And I have a bug here, I think. Yeah, so you can see I have some stuff to do. Anyway, so all of these places are places that you're gonna be able to go to. All of these that have a name. So you can choose to go wherever you like. And in all of these places there are gonna be either another creature to meet, or just things to pick up, something to help out with, And as I said, I mean, you might not even explore all of these areas every time that you play, because maybe the first time you're gonna go everywhere, but then you might not have so much time left to actually solve the puzzles. Whereas next time you might, okay, I'm not gonna go to the stream because I don't need to go there. If I just focus on this, I don't even have any reason to go there, and so on. No, it's not linear at all. I'm really trying to stay away from forcing the player to do anything. I mean, it might be a few things to really actually create the narrative, you actually have to meet the troll, because otherwise you wouldn't understand what you're doing in the game. That would probably be that, and the end battle will probably be the only thing that you have to do, have to experience. Spoilers! Yeah! So much spoilers! So that's basically it. So that's kind of how the narrative and the game design also works together. It's not really a plot line or anything. You can choose to not do anything. You can just walk around and explore if you want to. But you're still inevitably the time is gonna go forward. So even if you choose to do nothing, that's your choice as well. So you are going to get to the end boss fight, and if you haven't done anything, you won't have the power to stop the troll, and then you lost. Well, the troll is gonna change their child from human child. But that was that's it's a choice as well, right? the choice to do nothing. So I mean, I'm really trying to like work the narrative and the game design together like that. Like you are told the story through the game design, if that makes sense. So that's kind of it. Any more questions? I want to make this interactive, so please hit me with all your questions. It doesn't have to be game design. I mean, I'm trying to focus on game design today, but it doesn't have to be. But anyway, so all of these like items here, as I said, they're gonna have like their own story. So it might just be a small thing that the gnome says, like, yeah, this thing is really old, or yeah, this is a good one, whatever. I think hopefully it's gonna help to like create a very vivid world, like large world, where everything has a purpose. It's there for a reason. Like it wasn't created for you. Like it's been around for so long. Yeah, so that's kind of important to me. Like this needs to be like in so many games. It feels like you walk into a village and like you're the hero, and everyone's like, yeah, there you are. And everyone wants to talk to you. It's like what did you do before I got here? Like your only purpose seems to be to like talk to me because I'm the cool person. And like all the vendors and everything are just waiting for you to come talk to them and sell stuff. I really don't want to have that feeling in this game. Like, sure, you are the protector of the farm, but the creatures in the forest, they don't care about the farm. They don't care about the humans. Quite the opposite. They are there for their own purpose. Some of them have their own areas to watch over, like the Skogsråd, the spirit of the forest. She is she's on the same level as you, but her like area that she's protecting is the forest. So if you ask her for help, she's gonna be like, why should I help the humans? And then you have to convince her. So that's kind of like you aren't gonna feel like you're the hero, like the lone hero, anything like that. Like I'm gonna save the world. It's nothing like that at all. So you're just a small gnome in a big world. I hope that's gonna be cool to play anyway. Hi, you're creating this alone? Yes, I am creating this alone. So I'm doing all the scripting, all of the art, game design, some of the voiceover right now. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it, but yeah. I'm not gonna do the music. I don't know exactly who's gonna do it at the moment. I've been in contact with some musicians. We'll see. But that's like the part that, sure, I could make some music, but I couldn't make like Swedish folk music, which is what I want for this game. So yeah, I'm not gonna do the music. And yeah, the sound effects, sure, I've I found the ones that I like and put them in the game and modify them to my own liking, but they're mostly like Creative Commons, public domain sound effects, as it is. We'll see if that's it's gonna be the case all the way through. But yeah, so when I started this project, as I mentioned, I couldn't actually code very much, so I've been learning as I've gone along. And also, like, when it comes to 2D, I mean, I thought I can draw, kind of. I thought, okay, I'm good enough to make a game of this size. But I've been learning so much. Like, I've revised some of the images that I made early on. And I was like, why, how, what was I thinking? Like the troll that you saw, it was so ugly in the beginning. I was like, this is pretty good. Then I went back like 2 months later and I was like, this is terrible. And like I still don't think that it's very good, but whoa. My camera wants to run away, apparently. Can't handle this anymore. Yeah, I mean, there's still so much to do. I mean, I can still be so much better. But I can try and like iterate on everything all the time as well. Like as I go along and as I get better, and also as I find more time to revise. I mean, for everything that I do, I mean, I have like a week to do everything, and like, okay, the week is over, now I need to continue to the next thing on the list. But if I find at the end of that week, like, okay, I have more time, I have some time left, then I will go back and always like revise and make it better and like tweak and everything. So, like some rooms I would just leave, okay, this is good enough, or some things I would just like, okay, this works, and then like I will iterate and go back all the time. So a lot of stuff that you see here, like this room is pretty okay, I suppose, but some of the other things that you've seen, I'm gonna have to go back and like continue to make it better all the time. 1. Buy a nickel harp. 2. Start recording. 3. Profit. Yeah. Well, I imagine that a nickel harpa, key harp, is pretty hard to play. I never tried, but I mean, it's kind of like a violin, but harder, I think, to play. And just from hearing like newbies playing, you know, a violin, I don't think I don't have time for this project. I mean, I'm aiming to be done by the end of April, actually. So we'll see if I can manage, but that's the plan. What is nyckelharpa? A nyckelharpa, well, as I said, key harp in English. It is pretty common. See if I can find you a picture. Give me a second. It looks like this. So it's kind of a very peculiar kind of instrument. They play kind of like as a like a violin, as I mentioned. So you have like what's it called? A bow. It has this very specific sound. So it sounds kind of like a violin, but it's different. It's hard to explain, but it's really cool. So that's kind of what I wanted for the soundtrack. We'll have that like folk feeling to it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. And also, if you haven't heard it, maybe I can play you something. Well, I can probably play the game music that I have in game now. But as I said, I don't actually have the license for this, so listen carefully. This is kind of what it sounds like. Key harp, nyckelharpa. I think it's beautiful. And as you can see here, you can choose, as I mentioned, if you want Swedish or English for your voiceover. And you know, I could click to fast walk, and that's this option. So if you just want to, you know, actually want to see the gnome walk all the way all the time, then you can disable this. And as I mentioned, this is 30 DIP, so work in process. So it's not going to look like this in here, I promise. Cool, sounds nice. Cool, thank you. Nice to hear you like it. Hopefully there's going to be a lot of nyckelharpa in this game, except for one area where there is actually a guy who is playing a violin, and those of you who know your Swedish folklore probably know who I'm talking about. I'm going to show that later because I want to save that for like last in the stream. I don't know why, I just want to do that. What? No English folk music? No, because this takes place in Sweden, so why would it be English folk music? The gnome actually has kind of a English accent in when you have the English voiceover. Kind of funny. We'll see if he gets that in the final version as well. And cheers! I mean, it's Friday after 4, so it's Friday beers or Friday wine in my case. So if you have anything, cheers. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about now. As I said, I don't have that much planned. Another question, hit me. No one? No? Of course, I mean, it takes a while for you to actually hear me say that and then you need some time to write, so I should slow down. Oh, what the hell? I can show you what I talked about. Well, this is actually all the areas that I plan to put in the game. So, as I said, I don't want to get too technical in this stream, but how I've okay, this is very work in progress. But like all the rooms have their own like game object that I can just switch on and off. I don't know if that's actually the the best option, because probably it takes way too much memory. We'll see if I make it another way. I might have to put them in different, actually in different scenes. We'll see. School, yeah, from the chat. But yeah, so I turn them on and off as I switch rooms. And this is the latest one that I worked on. And this is the guy that I mentioned who plays the violin. It's Necken. So the story of Necken is that he basically sits in a stream and he plays his violin. And he can take different forms. He's often a young, beautiful man. It's always like some kind of man, but he's not always like young and beautiful. But the purpose of that guy is that he wants to lure people down into the river or the stream and drown them. So in this case it's a pretty small stream, but I wanted to make it look deep enough to drown in anyway. And also it's winter, so it's gonna be freezing cold, so you're probably gonna die if you go down there. In Swedish folklore there's also actually a horse called the Bäckahästen, who does basically the same thing. So it's kind of this shadow horse that people like, oh, I wanna ride on the shadow horse, and then the horse like runs down into the ocean and drown you. There's a lot of that actually in Swedish folklore. And I'm planning on making a separate stream for just the lore and the story. But yeah, so this guy, like, this is what he does. He like sits in the stream, in the river, and plays and tries to kill people. It's a lot of that in Swedish folklore, like things that want to kill you. Oh shit! Yeah, that's what it looks like when I don't turn this off before I start the game. Just seeing what you're saying in chat. Why is Swedish folklore so dark? Actually, I think it's because when you live in Sweden, or actually, especially back in the days, there was the forest. It was dark. It was cold. Like in winter, it was really cold. Water was dangerous. I mean, you could drown in the streams and rivers. Like everything tried to kill you in nature. So I think we created these like stories to prevent people from like wandering off in the forest. Like, okay, if you wander off in the forest, the skogsrå is gonna kill you. So like, don't do it. Don't go out there alone. And the nick is probably like, don't go near the streams, because instead of saying you're gonna drown, they say like Necken is gonna drown you, and so on. So this is kind of what I've been working on this week, and there is still work to do. His hand looks like shit and everything like that. You also can't talk to him right now, and this feels kind of like making him bigger like this, just hovering an actual person. Doesn't feel quite right. It feels disrespectful, so I'm gonna work on that. So yeah, work in progress, but I've been really excited to make Necken. I don't know why, it's just such a cool character. So as I mentioned, I wanted to make this like really look really deep and like, I wouldn't say scary, but maybe like for him, I mean, this is Mississippi, not really, but almost. Then again, Necken doesn't want to drown the gnome. He has no interest in the gnome because he is, he's a creature of nature. He's just kind of a spirit. But if a human would come along, then they should watch out. And here also you can hear the effect of like sound effects, because this actually looked like shit until I put in some running water. I mean, this is just like 4 different sprites that exchange all the time. And if you just look at it, it's not really that good. But with the sound of running water in the background, it's such a huge difference. So you can never like over emphasize, if that's the word, like the power of sound effects, ambience. See that you're discussing beer in the chat, that's fine. I keep to white wine today because that's what we had at home from New Year's Eve. See, I'm gonna animate him better as well. As I mentioned, like, I just made a animation to begin with. To like, okay, he is animated. Like, if I, for some reason, had to release the game today, it will be something. Like, if I wouldn't have time to go back later, then sure, I wouldn't die. It wouldn't be like a guy just sitting there as a statue, like a statue. But I can see how, okay, I need to make that thing better and that thing better. Like, I have all this list in my head like all the time. So when I have the time, I'm gonna fix it. Yeah. Yeah, so I was really excited, as I said, to make this guy. And next up on the schedule is making the Skogstroll, which is, as I mentioned, the spirit of the forest. So she is also a very, very exciting character, because she shares some parts of the Necken story. Like, if you go out into her forest, she could basically kill you if you aren't like respectful. But if you are respectful, she could even help you. And it's the same like the mountain has a spirit, and the sea has a spirit, and so on. It's like, if you're actually respectful, I think I mentioned this in the last stream as well, but anyway, like, if you're respectful when you go into a mountain, like if you go into a mine, for example, you actually, like, what is it, you should like knock on the mountain and stuff like that, then she could actually help you. Like, she could tell you if there's gonna be like, if the mine is gonna cave in or something. But if you just stumble in and like break stuff, she won't be that nice to you. And it's the same with the Skogstroll. Like, she could lead you astray. She could disguise herself as a really beautiful woman and like be like a siren, and like more like, in Dungeons and Dragons games, or like in what's it called, the Odyssey, like actually leading people astray and like killing them, quite simply. But if you are respectful, she could also help you. So that's kind of also what I want to portray. Like, that's how the forest works, and that's how the gnome's relationship is going to be with her as well. Like, she's not going to kill you, but she could help you or not help you, depending on how you treat her. And that's the thing with nature as well. Like, if you treat nature well, you're going to be fine. It's going to help you. But if you don't treat nature well, like we do today, we are going to see the consequences of it. So it's just going to come back like tenfold. So there is like, a measure of a political undertone as well in this, which probably all my games are going to have. Which you're free to discover on, for your own. Like, it won't be written all over it. But it will be hints, and hopefully people are gonna like think like, oh, okay, is that what? Yeah, that's true. Like, you can continue in the same like in the same direction as the game leads you, so to speak. It's a gnome to scale here. It feels smaller in this particular scene. Okay, yeah. Maybe my tiny mobile screen is fooling me. Well, the gnome is going to be different size depending on where you are. I haven't exactly tweaked exactly how large it's going to be in different areas, but like when you start here, this is his home, so it's going to be gnome-sized. Like this is his area basically, so he's kind of large because the camera is really close to him. But when you go to, I'm gonna cheat now. When you go here, I mean, you know, Nicken is really, he's the size of a human. So okay, the gnome is probably a little bit too small because it's about 30 centimeters, so it should be, yeah, it should be taller. But you're gonna see that he's gonna vary in size depending on where you go. And also the aspect is a bit off now because, you know, I have this tiny window in Unity. But he's a small guy. As I said, 30 centimeters, something like that. And, you know, the lore of the gnome, you know, it varies. Sometimes he's like tiny, and sometimes he's almost the size of a human. But I wanted to have him kind of small. Also because I wanted to show that he is smaller, he is less powerful than the forces of nature. So, I mean, sure, he has his domain, he has the farm, but that's his only place. And compared to the forest outside, he's like nothing. He is so small. I mean, he's insignificant in comparison. So that's kind of I wanted to make it small in that, you know, because of that as well. Like when you meet the Skogsrå, you're gonna feel like, hi, can you help me, please? Even if you're an old man, I hope that you can feel like you're small. I wouldn't say insignificant, but almost. As a human is compared to the forest. Does the gnome leave super huge footprints? Well, the footprints that you saw, they used to like leave an area. They're kind of a cheap way of, instead of having like an arrow, like go here. I just wanted to make some kind of track that you can follow. I know exactly how it's going to be in the end. It made more sense to have it like outside of the house, where it could be a human footprint. But, you know, in the middle of the forest doesn't really make sense. So we'll see how I do that in the end. But you will actually see that he does leave footprints. I'm gonna cheat again and go there. Yeah, and it's not gonna look like this because, no. Oh, he walks so slowly. I haven't fixed that one. Okay, let's look at this. Sorry. Let's look at another area. Sorry about this. So, yeah, I can just walk outside probably. So if I go over here, you can see that he actually leaves footprints. I think that's work in progress, but they actually fade away eventually. So that was kind of cool when I figured out how to do that. It wasn't even hard, but it was cool. Yeah. So, would it look like that? Would you look at that? So yeah, so this footprint would be a human footprint. It's not a gnome footprint, no. So yeah. Any more questions? Please? Well, what should I tell you then? So, well, as I said, everything is work in progress. Most of the things work, so I mean, it's just a matter of expanding the world. So it's more assets and designing the final like sending interactions with all of the creatures that you meet and the puzzles. I know what I'm gonna do, but I need to actually make them as well. And also designing and implementing the final boss fight. And there are a lot of bugs. And as I said, I've discovered some new bugs that I don't really actually know how to solve right now. So that's gonna be interesting. And also I have tons of tweaks and stuff to fix. But I'm on my way, as I mentioned. It's gonna be like 3 or 4 months and I have to be done with this. So yeah. What are my inspirations? Do you look at other games and like, yeah, that's cool. Look good so far, we follow. Are you working with this full time now? What are my inspirations? I think I mentioned a bit last time. Well, first off, I mean, I wanted to make a point-and-click game. So then it's, as I said, the Telltale games. I won't say that the wrong one again. And Monkey Island and so on. Like the classic point-and-click games. So that's kind of the inspiration when it comes to the game design. Even though I'm not exactly like 100% I'm gonna do it like this game or like this game or this game. I'm gonna be somewhere in between or outside. When it comes to inspiration, otherwise it's, folklore. So I got this for Christmas. So it's like you can read all about like different Nordic like folklore creatures in it, and John Bauer. It's also a huge inspiration. He was an artist, Swedish, I guess, artist, who drew a lot of like trolls and gnomes and princesses and everything like that. But I knew about folklore before I started. So actually, when I was on my way, I was on a train going south. Right in the middle of summer last year, and I was looking out the window and I looked at all these like beautiful farms and like small streams and the trees and everything. I was like, that's so cool. I bet that there are trolls and gnomes living out there in the forest. And I was like, I want to make a game about a gnome. Yeah, I'm gonna make a game about a gnome. So I like started making like the beginning of a twine game. Like just making decisions like, do you want to help them or do you not want to help them? And then it kind of just grew. So that's kind of where the idea came from, and the inspiration comes from, what I said, those sources. So do I look at other games and like, yeah, that's cool, all the time? I mean, I take a lot of inspiration from everywhere. It's not just games. I mean, I take inspiration from like musicals and music and movies, but also games, of course. So maybe even a game that's not at all related to this one, I can take inspiration from, like that specific thing that they did with that thing. Can't give you an example, but absolutely that happens. Are you working with this full time now? Yes, I am working on this full time now, and pretty, I'd say like 150% maybe. I've had like 13-hour days. I don't think I've had a single week under 40 hours since I started. I mean, and I like it. I mean, I quit my job to do this because like before, when I worked full time, this is what I did when I came home for a month or two. Like, so I already worked the same amount of hours that I do now, at least. So I was like, what if I could do this all the time? Because, I mean, the amazing thing is that you learn so much, as I mentioned. I mean, I knew so little in the beginning when I started. I should probably mention, for those of you who don't know, I started working in, full-time. I started early November last year. So what is it? It's like 2 months? Just over 2 months full-time. I lost my thread. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, it would be really cool to do this full time. So you learn so much and that's the amazing thing. I mean, not only do I need have to learn how to make the game, also you need to know how to do like marketing and everything like that, and that's harder. That's almost the hardest part, in my opinion, like building a social media network and stuff like that. Actually figuring out how you're gonna get people to buy the game, that's scary. I have no idea how that's gonna work out, but I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Worst case scenario, I start working full-time with some other persons, some other company again. We'll see. It's been on the reunion, SP09 reunion. Yeah, that would be cool. We should meet again. So, right, I think we have 7 more minutes because I'm gonna stop at 5 local time in Stockholm. So if you have any more questions, please send them my way now. If you had to give an approximate playtime, that's a hard one. I actually don't know how long this game is gonna be. I would guess about an hour for one playthrough. I haven't like counted yet or like made an approximation yet. I would guess about an hour. But as I mentioned, I hope that's gonna have a replay value as well. So you're gonna go back and try some other path next time. So hopefully you're gonna get more than just that hour out from it. But that's kind of what I look at. And it's probably gonna be a pretty cheap game as well, because it's gonna be pretty short. So we'll see where I end up. Yeah. I don't know what else to tell you. My notes are... I dealt with everything. Well, I hope you are as excited about this as I am. I'm gonna continue probably trying to solve my bugs this weekend, and I'll get back with another stream. Maybe, I don't know if I'm gonna do this every week or every other week, or it depends. I mean, I need to have something to say, something to talk about, but we'll see. As soon as someone says that they want another stream, I'll put one up, or anyway, but I still think I'm gonna keep them on Friday because it's a nice day to have streams on. And this one I hope is gonna be available for a while on Twitch, and I'm gonna try and put it up on YouTube. So if you see this on YouTube, it worked. I haven't figured out exactly how to do it, but it should be fine. So yeah, I think that's all I want to tell you today, actually. So I might cut it like 4 minutes short, if you're fine with that. Good luck, don't work too hard. Well, I mean, this is what I do for relaxation as well. I mean, when I don't do this, I feel, almost say guilty. Or actually, sometimes I'm just bored when I don't work at this. Like, if I play another game, I'm like, why do I play a game when I could make a game? Like, this isn't at all as fun as it is to make a game. Yeah. So, yeah, well, work hard. It's not that... I mean, it's hard work, of course. It's a lot of work, but it's not hard work. I mean, I could be mining coal somewhere. That would be hard work. This is not hard work. I can sit in my, just in a pajama and, pet a cat and, drink wine and make this game. So it's not hard. Don't play too hard then. Okay, I won't play too hard. With that said, I will probably spend the rest of the night. Well, no, I don't think I'm gonna work more tonight. I'm gonna play some Skyrim today, I think. Because it's like minus 20 degrees outside Celsius in Stockholm. And that's Skyrim weather, because I'm not going anywhere today. And then you stay inside and play a game in which it's also very cold. Because that's the only thing you can do. So, have I become best friend with Unity? Got a question from the chat. Actually, yeah, I really like Unity. I mean, maybe there are better engines for just 2D games. Maybe there's another one that would work better for this particular game. But it has been working really well for me anyway. And I mean, I can use it for any other game that I want to make in the future, and so on. So I mean, it's been working really great. And also the documentation is fantastic. So it's like, as I said, like if I wanted to, I was like here, like yeah, next time I want to do this thing. Like, I know kind of what I want to do. And then I knew what to search for, and then I could just Unity 3D, C#, how to make this thing. And there was always an answer, and there was always someone, even though I didn't put anything up on the forums myself, there was always already an answer on the forum, and they were really nice and everything like that. So thumbs up for Unity and their community. Really cool. Making free, I'm not even sponsored or anything, I'm just making free commercials for Unity. But hey, time's up. I'm gonna end the stream now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you join me next time. I think I'm gonna. Sorry about that. I think I'm gonna dig deeper into like the lore and the story and everything like that. Talking more about like Swedish folklore and everything. Unless you have another alternative, and then please let me know, and I'll see what I can do. So have a nice Friday, have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next time. See ya!